Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market, where I take a look at the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn market. I do it because I want you to be informed. It never hurts when you're a consumer to be informed. Welcome to this week's look at the state of the New York City real estate market. We're going to start, as we always do, with the luxury properties. And remember, luxury properties here in Manhattan are priced at $4 million and above. So what happened last week, the week of May 2nd through the 8th? There were 43 contracts signed in the luxury market. That is 4 more than the week before. That was the largest total since December of 2021, when 54 contracts were signed. Condos vastly outnumbered co-ops 33-4, and there were 6 townhouses in the mix. So here's something really interesting to note. Not one of these signed contracts was at 10 million and above, which is crazy because since December of 2020, we have been seeing routinely these what we call trophy properties going into contract. So the fact that there was not even one contract signed at 10 million and above is pretty noteworthy. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the number one contract for last week. It was a tie, actually, between 2 condos. Both were asking $9.25 million. One was Penthouse 31C at 15 West 61st Street, and the other was 5W at 601 Washington Street. Penthouse 31C has a little over 2,200 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. So the living room opens up onto a 145 square foot loggia. It is a sponsor sale in the park loggia. The amenities include a doorman, a fitness center, children's playroom, a resident lounge, outdoor gardens, and terraces. The other number one contract was 5W at 601 Washington Street. This has almost 2,900 square feet. It includes 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms. The unit features a balcony off the master bedroom. The building is a 10-unit condominium. It is a new building. It is designed by BKSK Architects. It has a doorman, a fitness center, a roof terrace, and storage. So now let's talk about the number 2 contract. It was a townhouse at 281 West 4th Street, asking $9.1 million. The seller paid $9.55 million in March of 2013. This is a 17-foot wide 3-story house. It has a little over 2,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. It also features lovely landscape terraces on the ground floor and on the roof. So interesting that none of these things that went into contract were priced at 10 million and above. I guess we'll have to it could be just a one-off in terms of that week, but perhaps it is an indicator of the market shifting a little bit away from these trophy properties, and perhaps just more activity will be focused on these just regular luxury properties, meaning those that are priced at, let's say, between over 4 million or 4 million and, let's say, under 10 million. We'll have to see. Okay, let's move on to the stats. So for the week of May 2nd to May 8th, the total weekly asking price sales volume is $268,975,000. The average asking price was $6,255,233. The median asking price was $5.8 million. The average discount from original ask to last asking price, 4%. And the average days on the market, 766. Okay, so that is our look at the luxury market for last week. Let's move on to Manhattan. We saw the supply at 502 properties come on the market last week. That is down almost 17%. So are we seeing what we usually see this time of year in the spring market with lots of properties coming on the market? Not really. We are seeing some properties coming on the market, but it's down from the week before. We did see 344 contracts signed. That is up 1.18%. That is a bit of a change. We are still holding pretty steady on the contract activities. So the demand is, definitely pretty brisk. Now, the question is kind of going forward. We are definitely seeing a reaction. Let's call it that. We're seeing a reaction to this rise in interest rates. And so what we're kind of seeing is this demand pull as buyers rush to lock in rates. And we are sort of seeing this kind of like froth. I call it frothy, right? The market's been a little frothy given that because buyers are really rushing, and who can blame them? They want to lock in while the rates are still relatively low, historically very low. I mean, who are we kidding? It's gone up, yes, the rates, but not terrible. We've also seen a surging rental market. We saw a surge both in Manhattan and in Brooklyn. There's even competition. Renters are bidding against each other. It's almost like when, it's almost like in a sale scenario where there's bidding wars. We're seeing that also in the rental market. Now, the sales market value, we did not see this kind of meteoric rise in property values. We definitely came back from the COVID discount. We definitely have seen a return to the prices that we saw, let's say, value-wise back in 2018, 2019. So when you consider how our market has recovered the pandemic losses versus other markets, some may well find value in, or let's even call it protection, should a correction occur with the market due to, let's say, interest rates. If it ultimately hits our markets, we are not going to experience the same extreme correction that other cities are seeing in their market or could well experience in their market. So, sellers, you had a great run, and it's likely to continue a little longer with rising risks of, let's say, a summer lull. We usually see a kind of a slowdown in the summer in terms of buyer activities. So we'll have to see what happens after Memorial Day. But for right now, the advice I would give is pretty straightforward. Sellers, if you are on the market and you have been on for a few weeks and you're not making a deal, take a look at your price. You may be priced a little high for this market. You want to be sure to get your deal done in these next few weeks, because once we move into the summer, we just don't know whether we're going to continue to see this buyer determination. Now, buyers, if you want to buy something now, you might want to revisit some of those old stale properties. There's likely to be very good opportunity there. Perhaps there's something there you've overlooked. Perhaps they are finally now reducing their prices and getting more in alignment with what the market will support. So go back and take a look at some of those older listings. Perhaps you will find something there that will work for you. So, I mean, it probably goes without saying, we are still in this kind of frothy market. So freshly listed properties are likely to have a lot of competition. It's probably what you're already experiencing. So don't look to get a lot of play with those. If you have the luxury of time, you don't have to do anything right away. Sit tight. Maybe the summer will bring you an opportunity when you have less competition. And perhaps at that point, for those sellers who've been sitting around, they maybe want to finally sell their property. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to Brooklyn now. Last but not least, let's take a look at what happened in Brooklyn last week. We are not seeing very much supply in Brooklyn last week. 301 properties. That is down 1.63%. We also saw a slight decline in contract activity. It is quite proportional to the supply. So there were 221 contracts signed last week. That's down 3.49%. Okay, so what would I say about what is happening in Brooklyn? Much the same as is happening in Manhattan. I would just add that the inventory in Brooklyn is even a little tighter. And anecdotally, I can share with you, because I represent buyers and sellers in both Brooklyn and Manhattan, that I am definitely seeing for all new properties coming on the market in both of those, in both Brooklyn and in Manhattan, that if those properties are priced well, there's still a tremendous amount of activities. So I guess we're going to have to see how this plays out, right? Where the market is going to go, because a lot of my clients are asking me this. Where it goes will really depend on the supply and demand. It will also very much depend on the interest rates, as well as any other extreme factors that could arise in the coming months. But for now, those are really the three things that we're looking at. So let's see what comes in the next few weeks. We still have some time in the spring market. We are still seeing buyers very, very determined to get a deal done, take advantage of the relatively low interest rates. So that's it for this week's look at the New York City real estate market, the luxury market, the Manhattan market, and the Brooklyn markets. If you have any questions at all, please post them below or reach out to me directly. Always happy to talk with you about what's happening in the market. I want you to have the information that you need so that you can be informed as you are trying to make these very, very important decisions, whether you're a buyer or a seller. We all know knowledge is power. I want to be sure that you have the knowledge so you have the power. I'll be back next week with the latest news on the state of the New York City real estate market. In the meantime, take care.